So obviously, we got a Grand Slam coming up this weekend. We're talking Wimbledon, of course. I'll rattle off some of the odds first, Donnavan, just to kind of get everyone in the right swing here. But so let's do men's first, right? Got Novak Djokovic, your odds-on favorite at minus 120. Matteo Berrettini plus 450. Rafael Nadal is plus 550 after saying he is on track to play in this next week's Grand Slam. Carlos Alcaraz, Phenom plus 1,200. Herbert Hurkacz, who's in great form, plus 1,200. Felix Auger-Aliassime, 14-1. Marin Cilic, 20-1. Nick Kyrgios, 25, and Stefanos Tsitsipas, also 25-1. That's your men's side. Kind of the only, I would say, contenders to maybe make a run to the semifinals, I would say. And then really quick, I'll hit some of the women's side. Iga Swiatek, plus 180. Ons Jabeur, 10-1. Simona Halep, 10-1. Serena Williams making her comeback at 11-1. Beatrice Maya, 12-1. Coco Gauff, who made her breakout here a few years ago, 12-1. Karolina Pliskova, 12-1. Petra, Kvitova, 12-1. And one more mention, she's in good form on grass. Angie Kerber, 2018 Wimbledon champion. She's 28-1. But that's kind of our women's side and our men's side. So, David, I'm going to tee you off here kind of. What are you seeing as some keys here? Get the viewers ready for Wimbledon. What are you eyeing in terms of betting insights as you're looking to handicap this tournament?
Yeah, listen, so round one starts on Monday, right? So we still have a lot of time to get ready for this. And these tournaments, they're really unpredictable, but one of the things that you can expect is huge lines from these favorites. We were looking at the lines earlier. Novak Djokovic is minus 10,000 in his opening round match. There's just no way that betting on Djokovic on the money line is profitable. So the first thing that you want to do is if you want to be in on the action, especially on some of these bigger names, what you want to do is you want to go in and look at the exact set scores, right? Because if you look at Djokovic's line, for example, he drops from minus 10,000 to minus 425 if you take him in straight sets, and then you have so many other options that you can go to in order to get some kind of value on these bigger names. And so it's gonna take a little bit more effort in terms of handicapping and figuring out who's really good on grass and who can push it and who's kind of in like decent form right now. But it's the only way that you're gonna get it's the only way that you're gonna get true value on the bigger names if you're not just putting money on a future early on, or if you're not looking at some of the smaller matchups and taking some upsets there. And so that's kind of the first one. The second one is, along the same lines, you want to look towards the over and the unders in terms of games played. This way you can get kind of like a little bit more of a range, because you can say, okay, either I want to juice it up a little bit, or I want to juice it down, and it's not just a set price for the entire set. So you can kind of play with it a little bit more, and it gives you just a little bit more room for error, right? Obviously, like if you say, hey, this person is going to win in straight sets and they drop set one, you're done. But you can say, but if that happens and you have an over under, that first set can still go awry and they can make it up in the second and third and so on sets. And so that's kind of the other thing that you want to look at, especially in these early rounds when you're looking at these key players. Outside of that, if you're just betting on not random matches, but matches where the people are fairly similar, then don't be afraid to maybe take some upsets, because those things are bound to happen. And so, but if we're talking about just big name players betting on your Nadals and Djokovic's and Swiatek's, this is the way that you're going to be able to find some value. And finally, if we're talking about just straight, handicapping things to look for from a player, you want to look at big servers, right? Big servers have historically done well at Wimbledon. It's the only major with grass. It's a much different surface, and if you can get it there, especially in the later rounds, because you start seeing the grass kind of decay. You see like the heat maps of where everybody stands, and so if you could kind of get these if you can back these big servers who are able to pinpoint exactly where they want to go and know kind of where everybody's going to be based on like those heat maps and stuff like that. That's another key in terms of finding success at Wimbledon.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I think your last point about big servers is huge to Wimbledon, and just the grass swing in general. I think there's a lot to be gained. And back to your over under point, I think that with big serves means you're seeing a lot of service games that are going, holding to love. You're going to roll through those service games. You're really on track. You have very few break chances. You're probably going to go to a tie break, and 1 point's going to decide. One mini break and a tie break is going to decide a set and really kind of flip the match on its head. So I think if you're looking at particularly good servers, you might want to look to go over their games. And I mean, listen, these edges are going to be sussed out in the market, but I think if you think that these matches are going to go particularly long and it's going to go to a tiebreak where one bounce is going to pretty much determine a set, and then all of a sudden you're getting 10 to 13 more games in a set, that game's going to fly over. So you may want to look and say, okay, maybe this underdog can maybe grab a set off of one of these big servers. Okay, I'm going to go over, because you're not going to see many break opportunities from these big servers either on their return games. They're basically just going to go, all right, I'm just going to serve this out. I'll try and win a tiebreak. So, looking at your over 39 and a half and basically saying, all right, how many tiebreaks am I going to get? Can I get this to a fourth set? You're going to see a lot of competitive sets on the scoreline that actually aren't that competitive, because these servers are just going to bomb serves and just get back to the next switch. So I think that looking over on competitive matches is kind of a secret sauce here, because you're going to see these sets go longer based on these big servers and your inability to really pick up on serves so fast. So I think that was awesome analysis there. And Dom, I'm going to go back to you, because I know you have some thoughts on Serena Williams. Obviously she hasn't competed all year. I think it's fair to say she's in the twilight of her career. Maybe she has one more last run in her, maybe pick up some slams here, but it does look like she's starting to slow down. I mean, she's, getting up there in age, obviously has had children in the past few years. She's competing less. What are we getting out of her? Because the odds have placed her as the fourth choice, which I think is rightfully, because she has the kid. You can't make Serena Williams like 75-1, which like maybe she is, she's done. But her serve could go crazy at Wimbledon, especially with that fast surface. So what are you seeing with Serena Williams?
So look, so when the lines opened, she was actually 24-1. And so she's skyrocketed above, and everybody's buying into this narrative of like, okay, Serena's back. Now we have to bet on her. And listen, I hate to do this because I love Serena Williams, but do not bet on Serena Williams. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money right now at this stage in her career. Like you said, she's in the twilight of her career. She hasn't won a major since the beginning of 2017, and then she went and had her child. Since then, she has not been able to finish the deal. She's been in 4 Grand Slam finals. She's lost all of them. She hasn't competed in a major in an entire year. She's been in 2 semifinals since then. She hasn't been able to get the job done. All we see from Serena, especially since 2018 when she's made her return, is that she's good enough to make the deep run. She's running out of gas every single time. And I hope she can get one more. I doubt she does. And especially she's not getting one here at Wimbledon. She's not getting one. The first one after a year, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Maybe she's prepping for, trying to grab one of the hard court ones, whether it's the US Open in September or the Australian Open in January. That might be more of her this might be kind of a, like her ramp up kind of.
Yeah, it's more her speed. And Wimbledon is my favorite major, and she's had so much success here, right? She has what, seven titles at Wimbledon. So this is clearly a tournament that she knows that she can dominate. And one of the finals that she's made the Wimbledon finals 2 times in the last 4 years. But again, she keeps losing them. She just doesn't have enough. And if we're talking about her going up against Swiatek, she might get rocked by Swiatek. Anybody who plays her right now might get rocked. She's just on such a dominant path right now. So I think that for Serena to move up and have the skyrocket in odds right now, it's just not the right move. And so I think that if there was anybody else, to bet on, you probably have a better chance on betting on one of the lesser names below Serena to make a run and maybe even steal one from Swiatek.
Yeah, Iga, obviously the odds on favorite plus 180. She's won, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's got to be north of like 30 matches in a row at this point. Obviously won the French last month.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough to expect much out of Serena, in my opinion. And now for my fade. And it pains me to say this because every single tennis fan of the big, like they root for one of the big three more than the others.
Exactly.
And Rafa Nadal is my guy. Like I love Rafa. I root for him at all costs. And while it'd be great if he won Wimbledon this year and made it 2 Grand Slams in a row, I don't see it. I'm not buying it. I think that the run to the French Open title, it wasn't as impressive as people are making it out to be. I know he beat Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. It just wasn't as dominant. It wasn't a classic Rafael Nadal performance, in my opinion, that entire swing. He obviously has the foot issues, and he wasn't supposed to play in this event. There were a lot of questions. He just announced recently that he is on track to play. I just don't see it. When you see Novak Djokovic as the odds-on favorite, that's where I think the value is. To me, Nadal, he hasn't played on grass. I know it's a short swing, but I can't envision him getting up for this slam. It's his first time competing here since 2018. He didn't make the semis there, but he hasn't won since 2013. Djokovic has really taken over with his ability to return basically all serves, make everything a rally, and then win those rallies. He's just become the best player in the world on grass. Even Matteo Berrettini, who is in fantastic form himself on grass right now, I'm just not seeing Nadal making a run here. Again, he is Rafael Nadal, and his ability to win at slams has the opportunity to push him into the quarters and maybe the semis. But in terms of being a real candidate to win this title, I just don't see it at all. To me, this is a Djokovic title, even though I don't root for him typically. I think my money's going to be rooting for him in this. I think that this is Djokovic's. He is rightfully the odds-on favorite. I don't believe anyone's going to be able to hold a candle to him. I think Djokovic is going to roll through this tournament, especially with Nadal not in form. I'm honestly a little surprised he is competing in this tournament and not gearing up to possibly contend for another U.S. Open crown. But I just don't see it from Nadal right now.
Yeah, no, listen, that's completely fair. I think, listen, when you look at the French Open run, one of the things that's probably going to get overlooked as history goes on is the fact that match against Zverev was a walkover, right? And Zverev was pushing Nadal in that. I think it was in the second set where he was actually getting pushed. I think it was 2-2 at that point. And that match still had the possibility to go anywhere. And and for me, and I had said before the tournament had started that Zverev was one of the guys that I think could challenge Djokovic at the end. He obviously didn't get the opportunity to play him because of Nadal, but that walkover was so key, because when you're talking about a player with age, to not have to go through another hour and a half of tennis.
That match was on track to go another 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying. That match really could have been the end of Nadal's thing. And so I completely agree with everything that you're saying. I think that this is Djokovic's tournament to lose, and him being the odds-on favorite is the correct move. What I'm interested in, and it kind of sucks, but like, you got to fade the legends at a certain point, and you got to make way for the new school. Djokovic is just here though. Like I don't know when he's gonna stop, and it's kind of frustrating me because I want somebody else. Like I'm ready for Carlos to show up and dominate the game.
Yeah, if we're talking about fading someone, Alcaraz, he stands no chance on grass. This swing. He doesn't have a lot of experience on the surface. I think that he might honestly get bounced kind of early, and he'll get ready for the hard court swing where I expect him to contend for his first Grand Slam. But yeah, that's our Wimbledon little mini preview. We're going to have a ton of coverage to kick off next week and kick off the Grand Slam. So make sure you go check that out on betsided.com.